The AI takeover is here. AI agents have started to replace entire teams, and every few months, AI just keeps getting better and better. But I'd hate for you to get left behind. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the 3 biggest opportunities that you can capitalize on right now and get rich in this AI revolution, even if you're starting from zero. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Alex, and my AI company has made over $1 million in sales. So I think it's safe to assume that I might know a thing or two about how to make money in this new AI revolution. With that being said, let's dive into opportunity number 1. All right, so business number 1 that you can start to take advantage of the AI revolution is starting an AI demand generation agency. Now, AI demand generation is just a fancy way of saying lead generation, but obviously you're using AI to do most of the heavy lifting. In short, you're going to be using AI to find clients for your clients. And there's definitely a bunch of different ways of doing this, but this is typically done through outreach. You can do cold email, you can do LinkedIn, you can do Instagram, you can do Facebook, you can do anything you'd like. But my personal favorite and the one that I've seen the best results on is by far Twitter outreach. You can send up to 500 messages per day per account, meaning the limits are the highest across every possible social media platform. You don't really need to worry about accounts getting banned or suspended as long as you're verified. No worries, getting verified is super easy. It's literally just $8 a month. And not only that, but it's got the lowest amount of competition out there, and it's by far the cheapest option. Now, in terms of how easy this business model is to start, on a scale 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest and 10 being the hardest, this would probably rank around a 3 or a 4. Reason being is you don't need a ton of capital, or really you don't need any capital to get going, and you only need a couple core skills like knowing how to make offers, knowing how to scrape leads, and knowing how to write converting copy. Not only will you need this for yourself, meaning to build an offer and find leads and write good copy for your business, but then you'll also need to be able to do this for your own clients. Now, if I was starting this business right now, to get clients, this is what I do. First thing is I would build an offer built specifically for cold traffic. And if you're just starting out, this is probably going to mean doing some sort of work for free. Or if you don't want to do any work for free, then I'd probably do some sort of setup fee up front to collect cash. And then I do some sort of pay on results basis afterwards, meaning big head, long tail type of offer. Now, again, if you're just starting out, I honestly just recommend that you do work for free, and your scripts can look something like this. You can literally just say, hey, first name, if I brought you leads for absolutely free and you just paid me every time you closed, would that be worth a chat? Literally something like that is going to get you a ton of replies, and then you're gonna have the issue of trying to figure out who you actually wanna work with, which is a great problem to have. Now, to actually get in touch with these clients, you can do manual outreach, and that's gonna work perfectly well, but it's gonna take up a bunch of time, and nowadays you can just automate the whole process with software and AI. So let me show you how I typically automate my Twitter outreach. And again, not only is this gonna be helpful for you to get clients for your business, but then you can use the same strategy, get clients for your clients, which is why this is so beautiful. All right, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you wanna hit the first link down below the description to get a 7-day free trial on dripbeat.ai, which is my personal Twitter outreach tool of choice. And you just hit start free trial right here, or if you're already a user, you can just hit sign in. And once you're inside, you're gonna wanna find the lead section on the left-hand side of your screen. Then you're gonna hit new lead source, you're gonna hit lead scraper. And now what we need to do is we need to figure out who your target audience follows on Twitter. Now, for this example, let's just say you are targeting anyone that sells any sort of info, meaning course sellers, anyone with a mentorship, any coaches. And with that ICP, you can safely assume that the WAP guys are followed by these types of people. And so what we're gonna do is we are literally just going to go into Twitter, we're gonna search up WAP, and then we can take everyone that WAP follows. Why? Because if WAP follows them, either they work at WAP or they're selling something on WAP. And if they're selling something on WAP, odds are they're selling some sort of info. And so that is how you want to find leads. Now, you can also just go after your own followers, or you can go after the followers of your competitors. Super great way to get a couple of leads through the door. And so here we are going to go after all the followers, all the following. We're gonna add sources. We're gonna add that source, and now you can add as many sources as you'd like. We're gonna hit next, and now what you wanna do is you wanna add bio contents, right? So you wanna figure out what keywords your ICP has in their bio. So for example, we're just gonna go in here, we're gonna go into the following, and then, so for example, writer, direct response. So let's see who we want to reach out to right here. So for example, Christian right here has a coaching program. So we're going to add a coaching. We're going to add program in here as well. And for now, we're just going to add those two. I just want you to see what the lead scraper is capable of doing and why we're using software and AI to automate this whole process. So now we have 235 leads that are literally perfect fits. Now you can add more keywords if you do a little bit more research, and this list will get bigger because right here we filtered 99.7% of the list, but this means this is going to be a super high quality list. So now we're going to do demo YT. We're going to save this lead source, and now we can actually start an automation. So we're going to hit automations on the left hand side. We're going to hit add new, select ColdDM 2.0. We're going to hit next. Now you just want to select the lead source that we just uploaded. We're going to hit next, and now we're going to do script personalizer. Essentially what this means is we're going to use AI to enhance our message. So for example, context, we're just gonna say, I help businesses scale through Twitter outreach. Now for our script, we're just gonna add what we were talking about earlier. So it was something along the lines of, hey, first name. And here we're using AI to determine what their first name is, because on Twitter, not everyone has their first name where it's supposed to be. So we're using an agent that is going to find their name either on their profile or on their website. So we're doing, hey, first name, if I could send you leads for free and you just paid me every time someone closed, would that be worth a quick chat? Question mark. There we go. Literally something as simple as that would probably work really well, obviously, if that's your offer. Now here we are going to set AI creativity to around 1. There we go, 1.1. We're going to include a website context. We're going to have that turned on. Include tweet context. We're going to have that turned on as well. We're going to hit next. We're going to hit next. And then for follow-ups, we're just going to say question mark. We're going to send that 1 day later. And I highly advise you to only send one follow-up. Most of the replies that we're going to get are going to come from the first message. Literally over 80%. We've tested this. And so there's really no need in wasting daily messages on follow-ups that you're not going to get replies to. So now we're going to hit next. Now we're going to schedule 10 messages per hour, and we are going to select these specific settings right here. We're going to only reach out to people in the US. There we go, United States. Activity check. We're going to make sure we're only reaching out to people that have been active within the last 10 days or 11 days. There we go. AI language check. You can also select the language to only be set to English. So we're only going to be reaching out to people that are in the US, have been active within the last 10 days, and have their profiles in English that you haven't previously contacted, that follow or are followed by WAP and have one of the words program, or what was the other one? Coaching, I think. And so this is a prime list. And now it's literally as easy as that. We're just going to give this in demo YT. I'm going to select my personal Twitter account. You hit create, and now you are sending messages. So just like that, you can start landing your first clients in a completely automated way. And if you want to get this set up for completely free for yourself, hit the first link down below in the description. Business number 2 to get rich in this AI revolution is going to be to start an email marketing agency. No, this isn't a cold email marketing agency. I think there's already too many of those. This is an email marketing agency, meaning you set up flows once and they get triggered whenever a user take a specific action, and you collect money from them pretty much as long as they're being sent. Now, most of these agencies that you will see are in the e-com space, but I'd argue that there is a bigger opportunity right now, just because of the state of the market, to run an email marketing agency targeting SaaS companies. Essentially, you just be building out internal email marketing flows for SaaS companies. And if you don't know what this means, just think about the last time you bought a software, the last time you churned from a software, you probably got a bunch of emails. Now those emails, even though they said they were from the founder, they were most likely automated. And so these are the types of email flows that you're going to be building out for your clients. And on top of that, all these SaaS companies need newsletters. Ideally, they're sending out a newsletter every single day to collect as much cash as possible, but most aren't even doing it once a week. So there is huge opportunity here not only do a setup fee up front to get everything set up, but then also you add the recurring aspect to this business model through the weekly, bi-weekly, or daily newsletters. Now, scale 1 to 10, I think this is going to be one of the easiest ones to start. It might just be a little bit harder than the AI demand generation agency, but this honestly isn't too difficult to start. To start off, I'd probably just start a bunch of free trials over a a ton of different SaaS companies to see what they're running, see what types of emails they're sending out, see what language they're using, see what call to actions they're using, see what subject lines they're using, and then build templates around those. And then that's it. Once you have the templates, you start landing clients, and then you just build emails based off of the templates for your clients. It's pretty much free to get going. You don't need a ton of capital to get started. And if I were to start this company right now, I would probably just do outreach again using Drippy or some other tool. Now, to get clients for this business model, what I'd probably do is I would just reach out to all these guys again through Drippy, or I'd maybe try out LinkedIn outreach and cold email as well, just letting them know that, hey, I just rebuilt your welcome flow. Right? And then obviously once they reply and they're like, hey, can I see it? Then that's when you actually build it and then you shoot it over. And then obviously you'd be making these emails based off of the templates that you built from signing up to a bunch of different SaaS companies. And then I would just kind of keep repeating this, doing work for free, and then trying to charge them for either more flows or for the newsletter. And that would solely be my go-to-market strategy. I would just get my foot in the door by doing one of the flows, and then they see that you're actually doing some good work for them. They're probably going to need some more flows, so you can charge your setup fee after you've done the first flow, and then you can actually get recurring revenue from integrating the newsletter type of offers like I was talking about earlier. And then once you have clients, you can get these guys set up on tools like flywheel.cx that's going to allow you to actually send out all these emails whenever a user takes or doesn't take a specific action. So I recommend you check that out as well. And that's it. If you do outreach on Twitter, cold email, and LinkedIn for this offer and just do a ton of volume, and you actually have really good emails that you're providing for people, within just a couple weeks, I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to land your first client. And this is one of those that I really like, because the fulfillment is honestly very simple to do now that we have AI. You can just chuck all your templates and then all the emails that you start building for clients into something like a Claude project or a ChatGPT project. And then whenever you have a new client, you just give it the specific information on that client, and then you just have it built out all the flows. And so yes, that's obviously not going to be the finished product, but it's going to get you 60 to 80% of the way there. Then you or someone on your team can just kind of proofread to make sure everything makes sense, make sure the data is correct. Then you shoot over to the client, you got it set up on something like flywheel.cx to actually start sending, and then you're all good to go. And so if you keep doing outreach and you nail your fulfillment, I promise you're going to be making money with AI with this business model. And that brings me to the last business that we're going to talk about today, which is essentially just being a YouTube agency. What you're going to do is you're going to be running YouTube channels for clients. Now, obviously, these are going to be B2B companies, okay? Now, every company knows that they should be on YouTube in some sort of way, but most have no idea what they're doing, and there's no one in their company that actually wants to sit down and record. And so all these companies would pay top dollar for someone like you to come into their business and help them out with their YouTube strategy. In my opinion, this isn't the easiest one to start, just because you do need to have a bunch of skills to actually be good. You need to learn what makes a good script, what makes a good hook, what makes a good thumbnail, what makes good editing, what makes a good call to action, the length of the video, when you should be posting. There's just so many micro skills that you need to learn in order for you to be able to charge the high ticket retainers that these agencies typically charge. And so what I do just to get started is I probably just learn one skill. I would either get super good at titles, I would get super good at hooks, I'd get super good at calls to action, I'd get super good at thumbnails. I would just do one of the micro skills, and then I just pitch that. So I would be doing outreach again through Drippy.ai. I'd also, once again, test things out like cold email and LinkedIn, and just reach out to people saying, hey, I just built out this thumbnail for your next YouTube video. Mind if I shoot it over? Or, hey, I just built out a thumbnail, hook, and title for your next YouTube video. Mind if I shoot it over? Just something like that. That's just super easy to say yes to. They see the quality of your work, and then they decide to actually bring you on. And so that's the 80-20 of starting a YouTube agency. Again, you just learn a micro skill, you package that up nicely, you do outreach, you get clients for that offer, and then once you're in there, you can keep stacking skills so that you can just essentially start upselling your current clients that you're on with maybe just one of the smaller packages, meaning just hooks, just titles, just scripts, but maybe you don't do editing because you don't know how to do editing, or maybe you don't have the cash to hire someone, etc. So that's how I start doing it. You get your foot in the door through a very small offer, an offer that's really easy to say yes to, again, an attraction offer, and then you kind of start building your way up. And then that's it. Once again, if you just keep doing this, if you do good outreach through the likes of Drippy. If you're trying cold email, you can use Smart Lead or Instantly. If you're doing LinkedIn, there's a bunch of different tools out there. But if you do that and then you nail in a really good offer and you have really great fulfillment for your micro offers, and then you start building up into the bigger offers and charge higher retainers, these retainers can get into like 3 to 5K a month just for YouTube videos. So if you do that and you just become a YouTube specialist, I can guarantee that you're gonna make a ton of money from this business model. And that's it. My biggest piece of advice would be for you to just pick one and then stick with it for the next 6 to 12 months. And I promise you that if you do this, you send at least 100 outreach messages through Drippy every single day, you will land a client within the next 6 months, guaranteed. Like, you really need to be really bad at what you're doing to not land a client in 6 months. Now, no, I don't have a course. There's not going to be any courses linked down below for me to teach you how to do this. However, I do have a software company called Drippy that I mentioned throughout this video that can actually help you land clients for any of these 3 businesses. And so I'm giving you a 7-day free trial by clicking the first link down below the description, and then you'll get a free onboarding call there as well because you're coming from this video. If you want more help with outreach, watch the video that I'm leaving on screen now. I appreciate you for watching, and I will see you soon. Peace.